Hey, folks, what's happening? I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. Merry Christmas, people. Uh-oh, you know what I did, don't you? Hey, Johnny Scoville, do you see a pair of glasses out there? Thank you. I'm not the brightest bulb, people. Thank you. You are a gentleman and a scholar. All right, now I can fire this thing up. Whoa, hey, there are people here. Let's see what's going on, shall we? Kathy Ann, thank you for being here. Kathy Ann's been doing a lot of stuff for us on the boat. She's killing it. Roberta, how are you? AVAC 4, good to see you. Rosanna Dana, Merry Christmas to you, even to those of us who don't care for the holidays. Merry Christmas, says Mother Bird. Jason P, how are you, man? Merry Christmas. Catherine B, Merry Christmas. Jamie Palmer, what's happening? Hello, Kirsten. Merry Christmas from Glasgow, Scotland, who all celebrate. Wishing the rest of you a lovely, restful time. Sending hugs to all, and especially those who find this time of year difficult. And there are some of us who do. Diane, good to see you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to one and all. I'm so happy to spend a part of my day on the boat. Me too. I'm glad you are here. Jenny, how are you? Merry Christmas from Newfoundland. All right. Love it. Glad that you are here. I really am. Welcome. NC, good to see you. How are you? Care Bear, what's happening? Angie Moe, good to see you. Bill Herrera, what's happening? Nicola. Donna, how you been? Galen, good to see you. Wait a second. Greetings from the UK. It's always a pleasure to join you. And now the added bonus of being with you on Christmas Day. Well, that's awesome. We get that bonus for having you here. Angie Lee, good to see you. Chase the Heat, never heard of him. What's happening? The Johnny Scoville. If you've not hit subscribe to Johnny, that's my brother. Get over there and do it. If you got a wrench, put that man's link up, would you? Gamer Jackie, how are you? Aunt KK, most of you probably have. I mean, the guy's got a bazillion subscribers. James Collins cares. How you doing? Jane Aldrich, Shannon Trim, Priska. I've never said hello to you. Here's the fun thing. I'm so bad at remembering. I might say that in a couple of days and go, hey, I've never said hello to you. So if I have, it happens. Max Bratt. All right. Well, we're happy to be live. Whine a little bit more. There was never a doubt, actually. The Arabian Bard, Little Mink. How are you? Orange. True Crime Nut. Craig, good to see you. Tractor. Wilford Harry, how are you? Barbara Aldrich. So here's the deal. This is very much my family. It really is. People say that crap all the time, right? I don't have subscribers. I have family. I really do. That beautiful purring sound that you hear right there. That, people, is me not cleaning a litter box. Now, if you're a cat lover, and most of us are, I'm going to get a couple of you that are going to reach out and go, oh, those are so bad for cats. Yeah, no. Fought it forever because there's so many bad things that can happen with them. Not this one. This company has eliminated any problems. First of all, you don't go into it. You come in from the top. It's a very, very different setup, and it is the greatest device ever invented. We're driving. I'll be in the car with Johnny, and we'll get a text message that says, "Squirrel just used the litter box. She was in there for 30 seconds. She just peed, didn't drop a deuce." Not kidding. It is the most efficient thing ever. And then I'll get a text that says, "Hey man, you need to clean all of the stuff that we've been collecting out of it." Of course, in a little bag, you just go throw it out and put another bag in. You only got to clean it with one cat. You only got to clean it about once a month. It's a very big receptacle. Coolest thing in the world. You got some habanero and tomatillo crazy bath sauce for a gift today. Looking forward to it. Nice. I like it. We are quickly becoming family. I love that. Sub to Reese and Johnny. Good call. Been a long time lurker. Sweet. Love the communities you and Reese have built. Nice. So welcoming, encouraging, and supportive. Well, you know what we have going for us, not just me and my girlfriend, but also my brother. And we've all really we've survived some stuff. And in my girlfriend's case, by no fault of her own, the things that happened to her, like so many other people on this planet, were out of her control. It was just what the hand that she got dealt, and she's played it with grace, which is amazing. I got the best hand. I was dealt 4 aces, right? And I folded. And thought there's got to be a better hand out there. So the things that I did, I brought that on myself. It's a very odd threesome, so to speak. The three of us are we're an odd triplet, but it works really beautifully. And you know, Johnny and Reese have known each other for well, for over a year. Oh, almost exactly a year, right? Well, Reese came here last year and met Johnny in person. But this time when she came out, we all got to hang out and actually spend some time together. And I think, you know, if you don't know my brother and if all you watch is Chase the Heat, as much as he's a very kind individual, he's kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like the dude just gets down on really, really hot stuff. I am so glad that you made this live, Lisa. I have wanted to ring you to wish you a happy birthday. I mean, a Merry Christmas, rather. And I wanted to actually do this since yesterday, but the phone currently is residing in a bag of rice. And I don't want to tell you why my phone is in a bag of rice, because it's more embarrassing than I have a very large pool out back. So I'm going to lie to you and say I dropped my phone in the large pool out back. The good news is they do always fix themselves. Thank you so much, Lisa Trimble. And I will, I'm going to send you an email and I'm going to tell you how because I would love to wish you a Merry Christmas. And before everyone goes, hey, yeah, do that. Lisa is in my group of 5. I have, if you've never been to the boat, we encourage everybody to get 5 people, right? Have 5 people that you can call at any time, right? For any reason. And they're going to stop what they're doing. They're going to pick the phone up and they're going to go, hey, you all right? Is everything going okay? That's a big deal. And we kind of rely on that as a concept. And in this day and age, you could probably have 2. We have so many forms of communication, but if you have 5, you don't burn anybody out and you kind of rotate through it. And Lisa is a part of my 5. So we actually do get on the phone. And I don't do that very often. You can't prove that, not so dumb blonde. You can't prove that. Love the avatar. Let's change the subject. That's a good looking avatar. My brother can back this up. When I was a freshman in college, I had a friend named Steve. And Steve was one of the first humans I ever knew to overdose and not make it. I had lost, because of where we lived in the roads that were like this, I lost so many friends to like drunk driving, car wrecks, things like that. In high school, like before we even got out of high school, there were so many deaths. It was incredible. But I had never met anybody that OD'd because most of us at that point were just kind of doing, we were smoking weed and the Bolivian marching powder, but no one was really going hard enough on anything. But my friend Steve owned the Mystery Machine. And I mean, he owned the Mystery Machine. It wasn't a bad copy, right? That somebody went and painted so that it kind of looked like it was. Am I wrong, Johnny? It was the ultimate Scooby-Doo van. I mean, it was perfect. And the best part of that story, I mean, not my friend passing, but for the full freshman year of college, we hung out, we partied, we did a lot of fun stuff. But my first week in college, I got a girlfriend. And I say the first week in college because by the end of the first week in college, she was done with me. However, she was an heir to the Hanna-Barbera throne. One of her grandfathers was very heavily involved in in fact, she was an heir to one of the 2 people that drew all of the Hanna-Barbera stuff. I won't say which one because I don't embarrass this girl if she ever comes across this stuff. But I may or may not have walked out of her dorm room freshman year in college with a 6-foot-tall Scooby-Doo, right? I mean, not one of these people. This was a really, really cool stuffed animal. And Steve put it in the passenger seat of the Mystery Machine. Now, you can't take that back, right? You have to let him have that. She unfortunately never wanted to see me again. Probably shouldn't have taken it, but it was a really cool stuffed animal. Tommy, I love the big, huge grin on your face when you're with Reese or talking about Reese. You know what? She makes me happy. She really does. And I think that that's probably the It is the cartoon franchise back in the day, Bill Herrera. I think that should be the goal, right? I mean, it's nice to hang out with people that make you happy. And she consistently makes me laugh like no one else does, and that's really a lot of fun. I'm sure that a lot of you listening to me have probably already figured out personality types. If you come from a family where there's a lot of people in the family, multiple siblings, things like that, often there's somebody in the family that's the comic relief, right? There's somebody in the family that becomes kind of the comedian, so that if tensions rise in the family or whatever, there's always that one kid that will lighten it up, make everybody laugh. And it's just kind of how families survive. And Quibs is that person. And I always was that person in my family. Johnny's funnier than hell. I mean, he really is. He's way funnier than I am, but he wasn't that person. You know, he was, I think he's more intelligent than I was. He was, but I definitely played that comedian part. And when you meet someone, normally every girlfriend that I ever had, it was kind of my responsibility to keep them laughing. And I think she's done that with every guy that she's ever been with. So when the two of us are together, I cannot begin to tell you how hard we laugh. He'll have no fury. You look fantastic in green. Thank you for always being here, Hill. It really means the world to me. I love that. Miss Constitutional Right. There is a plant in South America, right, that they grow. It's the coca plant. And we take stuff from that coca plant and we make a lot of stuff out of it, right? One of the derivatives that you can make out of it, though, if you remove the right alkaloids and do a bunch of stuff, you can make this white powder that people usually inhale through a rolled up $100 bill. And if we call it by its chemical name, I won't make any money on the videos. They tend to believe I'm here saying to you, "Ooh, you got to try this substance," because it's not really a human being that listens to any of this. It's a computer. Now, I think I ever told everybody the other day when we're going to go hard on those on the people from the Royal Order of Jesters. You know that old sex cult. They did ding that video. They did demonetize that video. And I kind of figured that was a chance. In fact, I predicted it. I didn't think there was a chance. I told everybody that was going to happen. And you know what? I don't care. It's really, really a liberating feeling if you think that you're doing the right thing. If you think you're doing the right thing, then that kind of stuff doesn't matter much, right? Doesn't really matter much. A line from here to the highway, says Steve Trevor. The Bolivian marching powder is what we call that. When we make reference to that stuff, we call it the Bolivian marching powder. When we make reference to its ugly cousin, the one that takes you in the complete opposite direction and is most often delivered through a syringe, right? We usually just call that one H. Although H these days is really very difficult to find. Most people who are addicted to those substances, the opioids, are doing fake, right? The fellas call it Fugazi. They're manufacturing fent and nitazines into something that looks like tar because everybody's really nervous about powder. So the tar version of the H, people always thought was a safer, more pure version because it was a more difficult thing to cut stuff into than is a powder. But they've gotten really good at faking it. If you've ever done anything with that substance, it's a very, very pungent odor like vinegar. And it's like a gummy, tarry kind of a substance. What they'll do is they will put Coca-Cola into a pot and heat it and burn everything off of it. Stings the nostrils, but in a good way. Until it's just this goopy, gummy, disgusting black stuff. And then they'll add in a little bit of vinegar that will sting the nostrils, but not in a good way. And then they'll add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then they'll throw in the chemical, and people will think they're getting one thing when they most assuredly are not. But you know who busts them really quickly are the people that throw it on foil, as opposed to the people that put it in spoons. I gave my dad and sister their gifts straight in the Amazon packaging. I love this. I hate gift wrapping. Do you know? Not a Fugazi. Yeah, Bill Herrera, exactly. You know, I'm famous. I'm famous in the Scoville clan for my rapping. And it was an honor that I took from my uncle. When I was a kid, the way my uncle used to wrap things was the funniest. I mean, we used to laugh so hard. You would get a gift, and he would have taken newspaper, and he would just wrap newspaper around it. Like there wouldn't have been tape yet or anything like that. It would just be like 5 pieces of newspaper completely done so they're as big as they could be. And then he would fold those over and then take the hell out of it in like 5 places. It was really bad. Like the way that this guy wrapped things, or he would send you a box and it would have nothing on it except a piece of wrapping paper about this big, right? And he would tape that onto the box. And you were curious, why is it called Chasing the Dragon? He would also do stuff like he'd buy you a sweatshirt and he would have a card that says, "Hey, Merry Christmas. By the way, if this thing's got a pocket, you might want to look in it." And he would put something in the pocket or do whatever. He was a really great guy. He died too young. The hospital killed him. It's an accident, but it was anyway. So I took over that. If you look under the tree and there's a gift and you go, "Good God, who wrapped that?" Chances are it was myself. The reason that they call it Chasing the Dragon has been debated by an awful lot of people. But here's what I will tell you. Have you ever seen how a dragon in when you see the big festivals and stuff in Chinatown and you see the undulating dragons and they got a bunch of people underneath it and that kind of a number? Well, if you're burning the black stuff, right, you drop it onto foil and you put fire below it, right, and then you tip the foil and it runs and you're literally chasing it. You have a straw directly behind it because as it runs, it hits the cooler part of the foil, it gases. And the gas just keeps coming up, but you are right behind it the entire time. And you're leaving that, it leaves a black trail everywhere it goes. So it's kind of reminiscent of that. Now, that being said, I can find the term Chasing the Dragon and date it all the way back to about the 1700s when there definitely was not aluminum foil out there and people burning stuff that way. So in modern times, everybody says exactly what I just said to you. However, that term has been around a really long time. So I would imagine it's something to do. Opium was really, really popular with the Chinese a long time ago. So I think it probably came from that because you can find references to it in literature going back forever. I used aluminum insulation foil tape to tape the wrapping this year. You know what, Nicola? Nicola gets it. Like that's absolutely something I would do. I've used black electrical tape on a red box and made it just look like Eddie Van Halen's guitar. Kind of put black stripes all over it. I've gotten quite into this. I've had an awful lot of fun with it. Second Christmas on the lifeboat feels good, doesn't it? You know what? Where's Charlie Muffins at? Charlie Muffins has done 4 of these puppies. There aren't too many left that. You're welcome, Steve. There aren't too many people left that can say that. I tend to run people off, No, and that's not exactly the truth. But very often, because of what we do on the boat, now it's a little bit different because we cover a lot of other subjects. We used to be very, very. I mean, if you ever want to go back and watch early stuff, you're going to see nothing but living your best life, sobriety, getting your brain under control. I mean, we did 1,500 or 1,600, 1-hour shows on that and that stuff alone. And then people seem to enjoy a convict's perspective on some of the law stuff. Yeah. Hey, Zero, good to see you, man. Glad you are here. Zero, hot skin. Merry Christmas from Canada, peeps. So glad I caught a live between cooking and rapping. I am so over this between you and I. We're telling everybody, Zero. You wait. Hey, Heather. Hey, Jules. No, for real. In fact, we'll wait. And when I say it, I want everybody to just chant that really loud, just in case Zero's got anybody near the computer. We'll just wait, and at any given time, I'll give the signal. Hey, Zero's over this. Everybody get out of there. She's tired. Just go. Let it go. Sorry. Melody, good to see you. So, hey, Christy Covington, we did a show a while back. Hey, Yadira, and I said a while back that there's an excellent chance we're going to start snitches get ditches. Well played. We're going to start hearing people talking a lot about discovery. And there's a lot of theories for why this is starting to happen now, right? Well, you see all of these drones things, right? And it's, oh yeah, love. And the things that I've wrapped with, you'd be surprised. I've also used bed sheets. I don't know what you got laying around, Caught you live. Got the lasagna in the oven. Rachel's doing it right. We're talking about disclosure, and there's a lot of people talking about disclosure, and there's been a lot of talk concerning these drones that people are seeing in Jersey, right? People weighing in on each side of it, whatever. Today, I believe, or it may have been yesterday, a former Pentagon official has come out and said, yeah, they're out there, right? They're out there. And I think that Americans and the world are ready, right, for that kind of disclosure. But I'm here to tell you right now that they're out there. Now, is that like one rogue official, coming out to kind of leak something? Don't believe that for a second. Don't believe that for a second. We got to keep our thinking caps on. If you remember, about a week or maybe a week or 10 days ago, I said to you, right around Christmas, they're going to come out and they're going to start talking to us about something that might be a false situation that sometimes gets large groups of people to say, you want to push through a really large bill that we should all be terrified about? Now would be your time to do it. You know what I'm talking about? I'll give you an example. When I was a youngster, and Spanky was about that big, the Oklahoma City bombing, the Murrah building happened. And I don't have a young audience. So all of you remember that, right? The Murrah building exploding in April back as Clinton was in office, a long time ago, long time ago. And within, days, right? They had the Patriot Act written up. If you take the amount of paper that was in that bill and realize that they had to print a copy of that for everybody in government, and then all of the people that worked for them and all of that, you couldn't have printed that bill in the amount of time that they claim that they wrote it, printed it, and got it up to the hill, right? It's BS. That they had to have been working on that for a really, really, really long time before we got any of that taken care of. You follow me? So I think you got to be really careful to make sure that we're not falling for whatever they're peddling. You follow me? Tractor says 2025 will be the year. Disclosure, and we won't be fooled by secret society black budget bullshit. Well, I love that as a principle. I really do. I do. Beyond suspicious to me that this many drones and out of that size are confirmed out there, yet the government says, nah, we're not going to take them down, huh? Since when? U.S. airspace, right? By the way, welcome, Lisa Trimble. Thank you. Lisa Trimble's tossing those puppies out like hot sauce packets again. That was 5 of them. If you just turned green, you can thank Lisa Trimble. The unqualified therapist. Love the name, right? Kind of made it a life. Roberta, good to see you. The deep state is way deeper than any of us imagine. I agree with that. But I will tell you this. There's a great video out there. And they have this huge drone. This thing's big. It's not like anything I've ever seen, like commercially or anything. This is a big drone. It's like a little bit smaller than a Honda CRX, right? It's a little MG midget kind of a thing. It's got 4 propellers on it, and it's buzzing down and going right. And this youngster with what looks like a broomstick runs out and just tosses the broomstick up, takes this thing down, gets into the propellers, and this thing does a face dive and hits onto the ground. Whatever's going on up there, if our government wanted to know what that was, I don't think it would be hard for them to find out. I think whenever we hear that there's something going on and they don't know what it is, it's because they want us to think they don't know what it is. They want us to create a fervor. Sammy, good to see you. They want to see us whip everything up. They want everybody to start getting really preoccupied with it. And that kind of stuff always bums me out, right? I will, anytime I bring up a subject like this ever again, I'm going to plug our friend from the behavior panel. Because he speaks about this and he speaks about PSYOPs and how it works. And it's unbelievable what a good job he does. But when everybody in the media is saying the exact same thing, be afraid, be very afraid, because we're being manipulated. And I can't speak to the world, but in the United States of America, 93% of Americans say they don't believe anything, right? I just got here. Well, good. Based on the title, I'll say that those who believe and have done some research have found the meaning of life. What a wonderful thing. It's our biggest question answered. Fantastic. The meaning of life. Did it have anything to do with men not wearing enough hats? No? Sorry. Arabian Bard, thank you so much. I love this. People are turning green all over the place. Look here. Don't look here. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? There's something to that. There's something to that. Yeah. Chase Hughes, man. Chase Hughes is fantastic. You should really watch the video that he does talking about. I just cannot seem to put you up there. There we go. Did not want to go for me. It's fascinating to hear him talk about it. But he's one of those people that gets hired, right? When a company or a government needs to do this kind of manipulation. We're finding out, right? We talked about this the other day. We're finding out through things like lawsuits, right? That the people that were handling Amber Heard's case, right, were also then jumping on to take care of Blake Lively. And it may be the same group, and if not the same group, well, certainly the same type of group that Voldemort has hired to smut up everybody on planet Earth, myself included. If you take the time to talk about that, man, then a lot more videos are getting made about you and all of the horrific things that you've done in your past, and a bunch that you haven't. But I figure if they're cranking out content, it's because we're doing something right. It is when they try to whip everything up, right? It's when they try to get everything whipped up. I'm going to do an entire show on the Patriot Act, right? Because I have this bathtub memory, right? It used to be different, but these days, I'm a freak at how fast I can memorize things. But I'm old, and I'm a freak at how fast I can forget them. So I need to go back because I've done many shows and talked about this stuff in the past, but I need to go back and sort of buff up so I don't misquote anything in terms of the size of the bill and all of that stuff. But the speed at which the Patriot Act was written, if I spell it all out for you, you will realize that it is absolutely impossible that they claim to have done what they did. You know what? I do believe the lifeboat is on the crest of a wave. It's funny that you say that because I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that. I have some announcements to make along this line, and then we're going to talk a little bit more because I would like to hear your opinions on this disclosure thing. Hey, it's my girlfriend. Merry Christmas, babe. Hope you and the family are doing well. Your dad worked in intelligence. As I was growing up, he'd shake his head when I asked questions. You have no idea, he would say. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. I do wholeheartedly believe that. Good to see you, Quibs. So let's just talk real quick. When I started this channel, I had absolutely no expectation of success in terms of what everybody else would think success is. Robin Miners, good to see you. Purple Groovy, what's happening? I had zero expectation because to me, if people showed up and listened and talked about sobriety and living their best life and not being depressed or connecting with people, then it was a success. So when we got to like 15 people showing up in lives, I thought, holy crap, we did it, right? This is, everyone else thought we were failing massively, and then we got monetized and I thought, good God, right? This week, the lifeboat will tip 1 million hours. It trips me out so much. I cannot even saying that is so weird, but the lifeboat has been watched for 1 million hours. That will be coming up this week. And that's just a really big deal for me. It really is. It blows my mind, especially when people said, no one will come by for that kind of channel. it's no one's going to come to that kind of channel. But if you break that down, what you will find is that's 105 years, give or take. So if you turned on the lifeboat and never turned it off and let it run around the clock, it would take 105 years to run. So longer than I will be on this planet. And that blows my mind, people. It really does. But the most exciting part of that? 90% of that was in the last year. For real. 90% of that was in the last year. Everything that we've done has been in the last year. And we're catching our stride. The association with the people that we've worked with from the beginning has really been a benefit. Hey, there he is. What's going on? That is my friend Sam. Call him Casper, but that is Sam. Merry Christmas, man. Sober this Christmas, and I'm a miracle. And you know what? This is not just to my friend Casper, but this is to all of us who are sober this Christmas. And those of us who are not sober this Christmas, but have cut down and are doing a harm reduction, or those of us today that are wasted and cannot keep our chin up, but have made the decision that this is the last Christmas that's ever going to happen, right? New Year's is coming. This is a hell of a time to say, I'm going to change my life. Crime Nut, good for you. Honestly, tell you what, New Year's, there are people that make New Year's resolutions. There are people that don't, whatever. We do a show about it every year. We do it right after Christmas, and we make New Year's resolutions together. We talk about New Year's resolutions. We talk about how successful or not successful they are, all of that kind of stuff, right? How fast people bail on them. And we do a lot better than that, man. We do a lot better than that here. But one of the things that I am very Freddie, stick around, man, please. A lot of people are having tough ones, but please stick around. I am finding that New Year's for me has literally just become one of them. I don't love the holidays. I say that all the time, but New Year's has been fantastic to me, right? I had a really good time last year with my girl. If it wasn't for New Year's, I wouldn't be with Quibs. We're going to have a hell of a New Year's show this year. We'll be doing that on Relatable Reese. We're going to do a New Year's Eve show. If you are not subscribed, you need to get over there, because I promise you, this is going to be a New Year show to remember. I'm flying into Bug Tussle to do it, and it's going to be a big one. Well, I'm not. I'm getting there way before that, but I'm going to be there for the New Year's. Hello, Sala. How are you? Good to have you here. Better days now. Welcome. Good to have you here. Still sober, feeling so much better. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And I'll tell you something else. Pay attention. All right, get a pen. Write this down. I'm kidding. But seriously, pay attention. This is important. There are the sobriety game has been etched in stone since they figured it out. There haven't really been a lot of changes, right? And one of the problems is that, like everything else, like the jesters, right? Each new group has to be a bigger set of jackasses than the group before them. And unfortunately, in sobriety, we have found people that have become militant about sobriety. Right? There are places all over the United States on Christmas Day that are going to turn people away from a sobriety meeting because they're high or they're drunk. Wrap your brain around that. Honest to God, if that's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but it happens. Some places have lightened up. It used to be really bad. Some places have lightened up. Christmas dinner in Turkey. My husband is American. All right. I love a Christmas dinner in Turkey. Lacey, good to see you. And I love that we're all over the world too. It's so cool. But if you fall down, right? This is another mindset. You lost all that sobriety. Okay? I got 3 years sober, right? And then you go out and you smoke a joint if that's your drug, or you drink, or you do whatever, and you go, oh, 3 years gone. What the hell happened to the 3 years? You went back and got wasted 900 consecutive days or 1,050 consecutive days or whatever. That's the dumbest thing ever, but we've been doing that forever. I mean, forever. People have been doing this in sobriety. It's a bad business model. It takes a lot to stay sober for a year. Don't write it off if you made a mistake on the following day. Right? Doesn't make a lot of sense. You got to start thinking of this as not a sprint. right? Or a marathon. It isn't, right? You're a friggin' Sherpa. This is a climb to the top of the mountain. Yeah, that's what life is. And base camp is sobriety. That's not the end of the road. It's not like you get sober and go, woohoo, we win. No, you get sober so you can start the whole process. For real. Sober is base camp. Then you can start looking about what you're going to do in your life and how you're going to have fun and how you can be a better mate and how you can be a better person and a better father and son and brother and sister, whatever the hell you are. Honestly. It sounds like not letting somebody into the emergency room with a broken arm, right? Or, I'm sorry, you want to see an oncologist? I can't let you in here with cancer. I mean, it's the dumbest thing in the world, man. Sometimes 5 minutes feels like a year. Steve, I'm telling you, this time of the year, one of the reasons that we do so much content around the holidays is because how difficult the holidays have been for me personally. I got sober in prison, right? So, and there was so much smack. There was so much H where I was. I mean, it was ridiculous. And you think about it and you how can you even pay for that? The markup is hundreds of times, right, compared to what it would be on the street to what it is on the inside. So they would say to you, take it. I'd go, I don't have money. Don't worry about it. Seriously. Start paying when you can pay. Don't worry about it. Because they'll get you 50 grand in, right? Oh, it's a great question. So I'll tell you this, Steve. I remember sitting in a unit, in a like a cell block in a unit. There was dope all over the place, and it was this time of year, and my dad was not doing well, and honestly, we didn't even know if he was going to make that Christmas, and I wanted so badly to get out. I didn't want to pass for him to die while I was inside, and it was stressing me out so bad that holiday season, and I was honestly by the minute. Right? That by the minute I was sitting there struggling so hard, just go pray, God, get me through the next minute. And I knew they were going to lock the door and lock my happy ass in at 3:00. And I'd be locked down from 3:00 to about 4:10, right? And nothing to worry about during that time. And throughout the holidays, I was living that way. When they would lock the door at 9:00 at night, I would go, oh my God, thank God, right? There's nothing I could do. And knowing I couldn't go and get it, I was fine. Where is Johnny and Squirrel? Johnny is on the other side of that door playing his guitar, and I don't know. I saw Squirrel earlier. She's running around doing something. For whomever needs and wants them, here are your prayers. I love that, Lisa. Real question: how do you be a better mate, a better parent when they have cut you out of their lives? Well, sometimes there are people who are going to cut us out of our lives, and we're never going to get back into them. That's simple. Right? And that is paying the price for some of the things that we've done. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. There are people in my life that are never going to talk to me ever again. And it doesn't matter what I do. I could cure cancer tomorrow. But the things that I did when I was under the influence burned bridges that I may never, ever repair. Now, and I remember a time where I thought to myself, that's more than I can handle mentally, right? I lost these people and I lost family and I lost this. I say all the time here. I mean, all the time. It's one of my favorite things to say, but they say you can't choose your family, but you can. I mean, you absolutely can. Now, and I have seen now, after doing this a long time, that people come back. They do. But you're going to have to get to a place in your sobriety where your honesty is painful, right? For you and for the people that love you. I mean, painful honesty. When I first shoved all in and got sober, and I got out of prison, and family would say, "You remember that time?" And I would go, "If you're about to ask me a question about something I did in the past where you think I might have lied to you, don't ask me this if you do not want to know the answer, right? Because I'm never going to lie to you again. So if something that I'm going to say is going to rock your world, think about it before you ask it, right?" And I can't tell you how many times family members have said, "No, I got a list of stuff that I'd like to know again. I'd like to sit down because things come up," right? You said this story and I got to go, "Oh yeah, that was bullshit. No, it was just a play to get your money." Brutal honesty, painful honesty will go a long way to building bridges. It's also horrifically difficult to do. And it was one of the reasons that I started doing this, right? You know, Boo, believe it or not, I think that is awesome. I said to people, I got very, very, very into this, believe it or not. But I had said to people for the longest time, I have a cat. I dig my cat. I hadn't had a relationship in about 12 years or 13 years. And I said, I'm cool with the cat. I don't have any desire to, I am going to be in love with me. I'm not going to rely on anybody else. I'm not going to go down that road ever again. And I got very comfortable with me. I got super comfortable being me. And I didn't go and look and didn't do any of that. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm a big fan of God personally, but God right in my lap. Okay? When I had no desire to ever look for one ever again or do any of that, I got right with me. I got comfortable with me, and then you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And the next thing you know, I get sent an ex-Scientologist. 2 years out, Gypsy Soul. Thank you so much. You know what? This is a turning green kind of a show. You know what? I am very, very lucky. She is lovely. She really is. And we make each other laugh in ways you can't imagine. For real. There is no time ever when we're together that we're not laughing. And that's it really is a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you what, oh yeah, get a pet. A pet is absolutely essential. First of all, if you don't have a pet, I can't understand why. Really, I can't. Especially, and I'm shilling for this puppy. I promise I am. Right? I don't have to deal with this company, by the way. But this is, bar none, the greatest invention since, oh, I don't know, maybe the internal combustion engine, right? Penicillin, right? Splitting the atom and that friggin' cat box. I'm telling you, people, that is the coolest thing that has ever been invented. Ever. Ever. And what if I'm worried, like if I got my kitty on a diet, or, you know, I think that the kitty's not doing something, that the box is going to keep track of exactly what she's doing. I mean, it's creepy. It's so fantastic. It's creepy. And I have actually, no joke, right? I've actually had to start figuring out what I'm going to do every single day at that time, right? Because this was such an ingrained part of my career. Boudica, you cannot. They cannot tell you that everything will be okay, to be sure. But, however, may I suggest, thank you so much, Gypsy Soul. May I suggest, and take this, you know, you can always go, Tommy's an idiot. I'm not listening to anything Tommy says. You're not going to hurt my feelings, man, at all. I promise. But if you journal, right? And you should. If you don't journal, please start journaling. But if you journal, I would start to journal about myself. I would start to talk about nothing but me. And I would start to trace back and work through one after another of the things that I believe got me to where I am mentally. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. This is something that I had to do. And it was amazing because when I got out of prison, my number one brain thing the whole time I was down was, I'm gonna die alone. This was a fear of mine for a really long time. And through journaling and through therapy, I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm completely cool being alone. I really am. I'm completely content. However, when I say alone, I had this. I had connection. I had people that cared about me, and I had people that I cared about. And I spent a lot of time interacting with people and really building some really solid relationships with people that I'm probably never going to see ever. People on different parts of the planet that I'm probably never going to run into one-to-one. But the ability to start to connect. One of the things you have to realize, Boudica, and anyone else that's struggling with this, is it is not a you problem. It's not. It's not a you problem. Statistically speaking, right? The science backs this up. We are going like this, right? We are going like this. As a society, as human beings, we are doing absolutely everything we can to stay the hell away from one another. And sadly, with all of the technology and all of the stuff that we've got going on, it is making us spend less time connecting, not more. And the truth is, the truth of the matter is, these devices give us an opportunity. No, man was never supposed to be alone. You're absolutely right. But we have an opportunity now to do some pretty incredible things, right? I have friends all over the earth. I'm learning about cultures I never possibly could have learned about. You know, every once in a while, you know, we don't do it every show, but every once in a while, I'll say, "Hey, just put up where you're from," and you'll see all of these different places from all over the world. And most of the time, especially as Americans, we take this for granted. Quibs is the funniest. You know, we were talking about it one day, and about 9 or 10 people in the chat said, "Yeah, no, I'm from Scotland," or "Yeah, you know, I'm from." Hey, say hello. Everyone was asking about you. The Quib starts going, "Wait a sec, you're from Scotland." She believed every single person that watched her was from the Midwest. Like 100% believed everyone who watched was from the Midwest. She was absolutely flabbergasted to find out that people in other parts of the world were watching her. But we're making friends with people in Australia. We're making friends with people. And you know what? Is this the most healthy form of connection on earth? No, not at all. It'd be way better if you could do it face to face. But it's kind of a scary time to do it face to face, isn't it? For real. There's a lot of really ugly in this world currently. Yorkshire, good to have you. But you start to connect this way. And then you find people that you really, really connect with. And we get together and we meet one another. This happens a lot. There's a lot of people on the boat that have gotten to meet one another. Spend time together. Carol Carr says, "Can't find the light, be the light." Exactly. I say this stuff all the time, right? You don't see the change, become the change. Make the change happen. I'm going to piss off so many people in 2025. I promise you. This attitude of we're not gonna take it, right? That's not a sales pitch, and it's either going to make us a really big channel or it's going to destroy this channel. But either way, I'm going to keep doing it. I've done the wrong thing for the vast majority of my life, and you know what? When I was willing to do the wrong thing, right, and that was my life, I was willing to go to prison for it. Well, now I'm going to do the right thing, and there's not much that I wouldn't be willing to do the right thing. And we're going to, I love that song too, Freddie. And we're going to call out injustice where we see it this year. And I don't care if that injustice in the past, I would not have talked about Matt Gaetz. Just wouldn't have. He's a politician. Talk about politicians and it causes problems and people unsubscribe. And I just simply would not have done it ever. And that makes me a hypocrite. It does. Makes me a hypocrite. If I may lose some subscribers. That's okay. I'm going to upset part of the audience if I talk about a Democrat that's a dirtbag, or I talk about a Republican that's a dirtbag. But if you're a dirtbag, you're going to get called out. That's it. We go to Rumble. That's exactly right. That's it. This year we are. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate everything that you do. This year we are going to be the iceberg. We are. I just don't believe for a second that we're going to continue to take the BS that we've been taking as a society. I think we got kind of sick of it. Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But you know, the beautiful thing is, Diane. Diane says, "Tommy, I lost my husband 7 years ago. And since then, I have become content with being solo with cats. I feel okay being alone. I would be shocked and apprehensive if somebody dropped into my life." I'm sure I'm going to chap some asses with this, but I'm going to say it anyway, right? I'm talking about me. Everybody lives their life the way they live their life, right? So I have gotten to a point, and this is, I have just gotten to a point where when I commune with my higher power, I'm going with hey, God, the answer is yes, right? Whatever you want, I'm ready to roll. Honestly, because I too was very content. And then I changed how I communicate with God. I changed how I do everything. And these days I don't spend a lot of time asking for specific things or how I want, this ship to get steered. Because I've realized, number one, I'm not any good at steering anything anyway. Never been any good at it. Every time I try to take the wheel, I usually run into a wall. So I'm along for the ride, so to speak. And I've just sort of been saying, open the door you want me to walk through, close the ones you don't want me to walk through, kind of a thing. And he opened a lot of doors to quibs, right? And even when it looked like it wasn't going to be, then he fixed it. Whatever the case may be, I'm not trying to shove anything down anyone's throat, but I would say be open and willing to see where the world takes you, where the universe takes you, where God takes you, whatever you believe. But be open and willing. 2025 is a year that I promise you, people, is going to be a year of chaos. And I mean that in the best sense of the word, not the worst, right? Change and big time change does not come without birthing pains, right? We're going to see some change. I was reading some really interesting stuff last night. Some really interesting stuff on changes in language, right? Things, the way that we talk, right, as human beings evolves. Things come into fashion and go out of fashion. And words that I think we are seeing, no joke, in the last little bit of time, we're seeing people change how they're speaking. And believe it or not, it's changing in a really good way. First Christmas sober in 25 years. I'm sorry. What? Holy hell. Congratulations, my vintage moon. First sober, did you hear this? First sober Christmas in 25 years. Congratulations, the official participation trophy of the Lifeboat. I don't know that there's been a cooler trophy. That's really awesome, man. How good does that feel? Honestly, how good does that feel? I remember that. Oh, God, I remember that. I really do. I mean, I went 30 and change, 35, something like that. I went a long, long, long time. First for you as well. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! You know what? Proud of you. Absolutely proud of you. I hope you realize what a huge deal that is, right? And I don't mean the declaration. I mean the execution. This is a bitch of a holiday. It really is. I mean, not the message. Don't yell at me. I believe in the message more than anything. But the guy in the red suit and the all of the stuff that goes with it really starts to be crazy, right? I heard a good one yesterday, man. How many times have people come up to you and say, "Hey, you ready for Christmas?" You get that? People say that to you. Are you ready for Christmas? What does that mean? You got any idea? It means, did you buy all your gifts? Have you gone down the list and written everybody's, right? Tick off all the presents that you got to buy? Because I don't think that's what it was supposed to be in the beginning. I just don't think that that's what it was supposed to be. So I'm ready. I'm ready for next Christmas. I'm ready for the Christmas after that. Right? For real. I'm ready for the next 7 of them. Because it's just, that's not what it is to me, man. It's never going to be what it was. Right? It is absolutely. Carol Carr says Jesus was born on April 1st. Well, yeah, he definitely was not born on Christmas Day. Back in the day when they were trying to recruit as many people as possible, they picked a day that there was already a lot of people partying on, right? Which was the 25th of December. So, but it's the representation thereof. I had no Christmas. Today has been horrid. This is my Christmas, right? So far, I talked to my girlfriend this morning. I take that back. I texted my girlfriend this morning, and I spent some time with Spanx Calhoun, some family. But you know what? I love that. I love that. I really do. That's a pretty cool thing. It really is, isn't it? I'm a big fan of people stepping up to help other people. I really am. And if you really want to, you can get your dome caved in if you ever really want to do a deep dive and just start watching all of the episodes on the boat. We've had people on this boat that we loved that were just really huge parts of the channel who we knew weren't going to make it, and we knew they were dying, and it's just a painful thing. There was a waiting on a transplant, and it was very, very painful. And a bunch of people from the lifeboat went streaming out to this person, right? Crew members that went out to meet him and be with him in his last days. And you know what? I don't think that's common on YouTube channels. I don't. And I'm not taking a victory lap because of what I do. I'm taking a victory lap because of what you all do. And I make no mistake, I'm taking the victory lap, but it's because of what you guys do. Iron Rebel says, Kestrel, you're not alone. We're all here for you. And that's the truth, right? That's the truth. Today is today's a day that's hard on a lot of people, yeah. But this is the day where people get together and do that family stuff. And they do all that. That's why we're live, right? At this time of day. I don't want anybody to feel like they got to be alone today, right? That is the last thing in the world that any of us want, which is why we're here, and it's why we're firing it up today, yeah? And I got news for you. Next Christmas, we're going to do even more. It's a tradition now. I say that every single Christmas. So even if we're unable to pull it off, we have actually done more each with every Christmas that goes by. But I'm going to continue to try to do that because I do know what this is. I do know how hard this is. Wow. I got two computers doing two totally separate things. It was really freaking me out. Lost my brother to addiction. He would have loved this channel. Sometimes I feel him when I'm here. I love more than you can imagine. I love that. I really do. You're not the first person that said that, right? I have there's a person that watches religiously, and they lost their only child to an overdose. And she watches religiously, and she said she watches because she feels like that her son is with her when she watches. Grew up with an alcoholic mother. I hate Christmas, but my autistic son loves it. So I spent 4 weeks preparing, and I'll catch some sleep in the middle of January. You guys are my safe harbor. Well, God bless you. I mean it. God bless you. What a beautiful thing. It's amazing when somebody breaks the chain. Know what I mean? Sadly, this disease is passed on. And I don't just mean the precursor for the disease. Very often, we actually pass on the precursor for addiction and the disease symptoms, right? Kids watch their parents and literally emulate them as they get older. And you would think, oh, there's no way. You would see that and go, I'm not going to live like that. But that's a rarity. It's really, really a rarity. Yeah. It's very, very rare that happens. I am very, very happy to be a part of this group of people. It never ceases to take my breath away. Just how kind all of you are. We all have each other, people. Even if it's in chat, if not for here, we would be all in other places. Yeah, we choose to be here. Sometimes not easy because we are perfectly, incredibly imperfect. Well, I sure as hell am. In fact, I wrote the book on imperfect. You know, I really did. I wrote the book on imperfect. And today is a hard day for a lot of people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Krista Marie. I really am. That feeling. No, you're not Debbie Downer. You want to go home. If you suffer in silence, that sucks. We'd rather have you come here and talk to us, right? Honestly, we need tribes. We absolutely need tribes. I lived opposite of my substance addicted parents until 41 when my husband left me. Now my kids want nothing to do with me and said I'm just like my mother. My child wanting nothing, or my child being removed from me and me having the inability to have a relationship with my daughter was my excuse for not only doing $700 worth of heroin a day, but it was also my favorite excuse for robbing banks. All of the stuff that I did that was probably not so great. All of that behavior was because my child was not in my life, right? Well, I mean, that's bullshit, but sounds good. But that's what I told myself, and it's what I told everybody else too. Anytime somebody wanted to yell at me about it, I'd say, Cedar's gone. They took my kid. I said it more because I knew if I said that, people were going to say, nah, right? They're not going to have that argument with Tommy. He might hit me. It was just a really good way to say it, right? And I'm not belittling, I promise. But the reason that I say that is I didn't believe anybody in my family would ever be in my life again, right? Ever. I just did not see a chance of that happening. And yet, here we are today, and all of them are in my life. In fact, I have a fantastic relationship with my family. There's nobody that I'm estranged with, right? I know right now it feels like there's no chance that this is ever going to get fixed, right? You're going to pass without ever patch. It's not going to happen. It's not how it happens. It isn't. I'm doing this a hot minute now, but it feels that way. It really does. Yeah, never lose hope. In fact, there's an awful lot of science that says, as opposed to losing hope, you kind of got to go the other way. You kind of got to almost live as if 100% it's going to happen. And it's going to, right? And I'm so damn cool that I'm not going to say, told you so, when you come on here and go, guess what happened? No, I'll never do that. I can't back that up. I love saying I told you so. I probably will. But it is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing how often these things that we sell ourselves on. I'm not going to see this person again. I'm not going to talk to this person again. They're never going to talk to me. It's not that way. It really isn't. We're very good at we do that. We do that. You be, make it, make me. Be the ball. Be the ball, Danny. Sorry. Caddyshack reference. I haven't lost it. Well, I may have, but it's Caddyshack. Well, I'm glad that you're sharing. I'm glad that you're sharing online. That's healthy. Why do we and I still believe the lies? I tell myself in my head, real tea, I promise I'm going to come back to that. Don't hold that thought. They too were my only family. Everyone else has passed, unfortunately, and I'm scared. I usually don't share like this. Well, the crazy thing about fear, right? And this is, you're going to watch the damned insight of the convict. Do you fear anything from your past? Maybe unpleasant to think about, but you don't really fear the past, right? Because it can't hurt you. We only fear the things that we don't know. We fear the unknown, which is always the future. And unfortunately, we're really damn good at making that future way worse than it's ever going to be, right? and I mean we as humans, forget that, because we humans do this. But we as people who have had addiction problems, forget about it. Forget about it, right? So I got this thing. The people on the boat are going to go, oh, God, he's going to tell the probation story, because they probably heard this one. But I did everything right this last time. My whole life, I've been an F up. But I got out this last time and I was sober. I did everything right. I didn't fail a drug test. I didn't miss a meeting. I made all of my payments. I did every damn thing right. Now, I still spent the first half of my life as a degenerate, drug-addicted criminal, right? I had only been sober at 5 years at that point, but I'm not making any mistakes. And I had the lifeboat, and I was serious about everything that I was doing. And I got a letter, right? And my mailman used to come at about 5 o'clock when I lived in Nevada. And I got a letter on a Friday, right? And I opened the mailbox and I go in there, and in there, right, about 5:30 at night now, is a letter that says, you need to be in my office the next business day at 9 a.m. And it's from my probation officer. Good God, man. It's from my probation officer. So I'm thinking to myself, that's it. This is the end of the game as I know it, right? What have they got me for? What did I do wrong? Because if it was anything, they just drive out. Why do I have to go in there? I've never had to go in there before. This was Friday. So I called, and they had just, right? They had just closed the office. So now I got all day Friday, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday in my head, figuring out all of the crappy stuff, right? That could still be that this could be. I started thinking about all the crimes I might have done in my past that could still have a statute of limitations on it. And I'm not being facetious. I'm online because I was a thief. I didn't kill people or anything like that, but I'm looking up theft, right? I had done a casino that I'd never been caught from. Like, maybe it's that casino. And I'm going through all of these things in my mind. They're going to send me back to prison. There's no way they're not. They're going to send me back to prison. That fear almost destroyed me. If I had sat down and acted even remotely logical, I would have said, all right, make a list of all the things you've done wrong since you got out of prison. Because I hadn't done a damn thing wrong since I got out of prison. They can't be doing anything to me. But see, I'm not good at looking at the best possible case scenario. I'm looking at the worst possible case scenario, because that's always been what I have been, right? That has always been who and what I am. Merry Christmas, Charlie Muffins. Love you, brother. Merry Christmas. Please tell your bride I said that as well. So Monday rolled around, and I went into my probation officer's office. And I walked up to the woman and I said, hey, I'm here to see Chris. And she goes, he's not in the office. And I said, yeah, well, I got a letter that said, be here when the office opens. And she goes, oh, yeah. And she hands a form underneath the glass. And I said, what is this? She goes, you need to fill that out. And I go, you guys mailed this to me. I fill this out like 4 times a year. She goes, yeah, but from here on out, we have to make sure it's you that's doing it. So this stupid ass piece of paper that I literally had filled out, because they even make you fill it out when you're in prison. It's a survey to figure out if you believe you're getting better as you go along. So this was probably the 40th time I had filled it out. And they do it every 3 to 4 months. It was going to be the last time I filled it out too, right? Because I was almost off paper. But done nothing wrong. Squeaky clean. Why? Well, because fear rules my life until it doesn't. Until you learn to take control of your life, fear is going to own it. And that's sad, right? It really is. But you hear gurus and you hear guys that write books and all of that stuff talking about living in the moment, right? Living in the moment. It's always sounded kind of new agey to me, right? But another story that I'll tell, it's a true story. I'm in my car. I was a drug addict. I was not a good person. It was my first wife. And I was coming back from fixing, right? And I'm going this way, and a car goes in the other direction. And it was a white Ford Tempo. I owned a white Ford Tempo. It was my other car. My wife drove it. And there was a blonde woman in the car who was wearing sunglasses that were cat-eye sunglasses. My wife wore cat-eye sunglasses. The woman driving this car was blonde. My wife was blonde. She was a dead ringer for my wife. The only thing that threw it off was there was a guy in the passenger seat, and he was leaning over and looking like he was either whispering in her ear or sucking on her neck. And I went by it, and I went, there's no way. There's no way. But all day, I'm processing this crap. All day, I'm processing this crap. And I got to the house that night, and I said to my wife, hey, how was work? And she said, good. And I go, go out to lunch today? And she said, no, I brought a bag lunch from home. And here's the thing. I didn't distrust my first wife. Wasn't the kind of person, I was fairly convinced she wasn't the kind of person that would go out and cheat on me. She just wasn't. So I didn't say anything. I didn't. And did I think she cheated on me? No. However, I didn't fix it, right? That would have been taking care of something in the moment. Instead, I didn't fix it. And the marriage only made it about another 2 years. And it had nothing to do with that. It was a drug thing. But fast forward, because this happened, by the way, in about 95 or 96. Fast forward, right? And I get out of prison in 2013. Had a wife. And now I'm in a Mercedes, and I'm driving down the street, right? And a white Ford Tempo drove by. And in the white Ford Tempo were two people. And my brain was in 1996. Instantly. And I'm driving in this Mercedes. I'm married to a different woman, right? I had been divorced for so long, right? I couldn't even tell you a phone number, an address, anything about my first wife. But I spent 6 hours that day being an ass. I spent 6 hours that day acting like I got cheated on a couple of minutes ago. The moral of the story is we do this every day. Right? This is why you journal. This is why you do all these things, because you're less likely to shove something into the closet of your mind using your foot. Eventually, that door busts off the hinges. And the girl in the car that might have been your wife, and the guy that might have done this, and the person from high, and all of this stuff comes dumping out at once, and you find yourself on a couch telling the person you think you need a prescription of some kind. Right? We're not supposed to be a VCR. We're not supposed to be taking in things and holding on to them and holding on to them. We're supposed to be more like a streaming service. Just kind of catch it, let it go. Check it out, catch it, let it go. Right? But it's not how we live. It's not. We spend all of our time living in fear, right? Afraid of things that we don't even know if they're going to happen. Right? You're not 100% sure. You know, I might get fired. I don't know if I'm making enough money. You know, there's a chance that you're gonna sit and F up a day about something that could happen. Don't worry about it. You could be dead tonight, right? You pop an aneurysm and not make it to morning, and you're going to spend all day long crapping about something that's going to happen 3 weeks from now. Live every day as if it's your last, because one of them you're going to be right. We do this, peeps. We do it. It's wicked unhealthy. It is wicked unhealthy. You might be my brother, but I'm still wicked proud of you. And I'm very grateful for everyone on the boat. None of us are alone. None of us are alone. You know, my brother has been part of my five, right? Since the very first day that I got sober. And I got sober before my brother did. Now, let me clarify that. My brother got off of real drugs before I did, right? But my brother continued to drink alcohol. I was not a drinker. That is not to say I don't drink. I still drink, but I drink too. I don't drink too. I don't like the buzz of alcohol. Never have. It's just not my thing. Oh yeah, Steve. To be sure, Steve says 80% of the U.S. is medicated legally or illegally. Absolutely, absolutely. And you know something? I'm not against being medicated. I'm not at all against being medicated. If the medication is right and it works for you, fantastic. But if it's a way of running and escaping from things that we should just be dealing with, see, we got off track viciously viciously. Yeah. This thing happened, right? And we got to a point where we said, you know, maybe you should never be upset. There's a difference between being upset and being depressed. There's a difference between being sad and being depressed. Things happen and they cause a sadness. If nothing happens and you're sad, that's depression, right? If there's not a mechanism that is causing you to feel low. If somebody steals your car, that's a depressing thing, right? That's a mechanism. There's an activity. Something happened that caused you to feel a specific way, right? Okay. That's what they'll tell you. Trouble is, that's BS too. It is. Because like my friend Q, obviously no one can steal Q's car because he doesn't have one. But if Q had a car and somebody stole it, he's not going to get depressed about it. It's not. Everything that happens to that man is the 5% that he can't control. He's going to work on the 95% that he can control. So you can get really bummed out, right, at everything that happens, or you can be that Zen dude. You ever know that person where you go, I swear to you, it does not matter what happens. You could drop a bomb in this dude's backyard and he goes, go out and deal with that. And it's that level of calm that rises to the level of Zen where you go, how? How does a dude do that? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. But I know I want to be that dude, right? I want to be the person that's unflappable. My dad, believe it or not, was that way. I know I have family members that are probably laughing hearing this because my dad would absolutely blow up and go nuts because he couldn't find the top to a ketchup, bottle from the table, or he had to wait too long at a red light. Like that kind of thing would get him. But if hand grenades started flying, my old man got calmer than anybody alive. It was crazy. Kelly says, we have a tape in our head. Yes, I'm old. That keeps replaying our failures. You have to change the tape to a different message. It takes effort noticing when the tape starts changing the words. You're right. Beautiful. Well played, Kelly. I got a question for you. Have you ever gone into your bathroom or maybe got in front of a mirror in your bedroom or whatever and said, you're not a loser. You're not a loser. You're a good person, right? Did you ever do an affirmation like that? You ever repeat something over and over while looking at yourself, telling yourself you're a good person? The first daily affirmation that I have ever did was, you're a good person. Because I used to say to Q, I'm like, what do you want, dude? I'm not a good person. And he said to me, this is your affirmation. You got to start saying that. We talk about ants, automatic negative thoughts. Automatic as in what? We don't have to go, let me think of something really crappy I could think about that'll bum me out. They're just going to happen. It's a internal monologue kind of a thing, but it's going to happen whether you want it to or not, right? That's just going to run. It's the way it goes. Automatic. Negative speaks for itself, yeah? So these thoughts, these ants, the acronym we call them, these ants start to take you apart. And depending on what your particular ailment is, your ants might tell you you're fat. Your ants might tell you you're unattractive. Your ants might tell you your mom never loved you. Your ants might tell you that your mom loved your sister more. Any of these things, yeah? Any of these things. So how do you get rid of an automatic negative thought? Well, what's the opposite of automatic? If it's not done automatic, you're going to have to do it manually, right? You got an automatic watch, you move your wrist, it winds itself. You got a manual watch, you got to do that yourself. You got to wind it, right? So if automatic negative thoughts are killing you, you need to manually upload some thoughts that are going in the opposite direction. And the craziest thing in the world is going to happen to you, right? The craziest thing in the world is going to happen to you. One day you're going to be hanging out somewhere and something's going to happen and you're going to get, swear to God, an automatic positive thought. No joke. Like you're going to be sitting there, you're going to be doing something and you're going to hear, you know what? You're doing a hell of a job these days. You should be proud of yourself. What was that? What just happened? Pretty wild stuff, man. Pretty wild stuff. Topic for another time. I just finally started accepting that my life is good and I have things to lose now. Imposter syndrome. Oh, you don't know what imposter syndrome is. Kidding. I go through this, man. I go through this. My brother goes through this. And as a content creator, that's a hard thing. That's a legit thing. It's hard because there are so many people that will tell you that you're fantastic. You're really helping me. My life is better since I met you. Well, if you're a person that's been beating the hell out of yourself for 46 years or 47 years, to have somebody then tell you you're excellent, you begin to feel like an imposter. But the truth of the matter is you are a good person, right? And doggone it, people like you. One tough chick says, my aunts like to tell me that I'm stupid because I struggle with cognitive dysfunction because of my autism. That was, my aunts told me that I was dumb. Absolutely. When I peeled the onion down enough, in my youth, I spoke as a kid pretty close to the way I speak now. I was very odd. And because of that, everybody I met said, you're gifted, you're smart, you're talented, you're really intelligent, But I couldn't get this onto a piece of paper. Like if I had to write it, it was a wrap. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. And the imposter, I hit a point where I was like, you know what? It's way more fun to have people call me a drug addict or a loser, right? Or a partier, or, the idea that I was blowing class off and not caring sounded a lot better than failing. So I started smoking a lot of dope and hanging out with kids that I shouldn't have. And that was the route that I went. One second. Rob McMullen, I do spend a decent amount of time doing that my damn self. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm addicted to tattoos. I feel that when I'm getting ink and it hurts outside as much as I do inside, there is a sense of normal. You know something? This is, I have talked about this a lot, James. I know people who have said they would go in and get tattoos even if there was no ink in the gun. And I thought, there's probably a market for that. I'm not kidding. For guys that are completely slung back and there's nowhere else to go, I'd let you drill ink free on my back. I love the endorphins that you get off of a tattoo. I really do. Steve Trevor, I got you. I feel the exact same way, man. Johnny's that dude too. Honestly, if we had a tattoo needle, Johnny would be in there right now just drilling back and forth on he's just a weirdo.
I fell asleep during
one. Yeah? I've never fallen asleep during a tattoo. That's a new one. That is absolutely a new one.
Sober too.
I can't journal. I want to, but I feel repelled by the thought. Okay. Well, of course you can, right? Not try to be disrespectful, but of course you can, right? You know how many things that we have to do in life that start out feeling as a thought that is repellent, right? Something that just, yeah. I remember I was real big into saying I can't do that. It was a mantra. Yeah, I can't. And I said things like that. Like, you know what? Nah. The way it makes me feel, I can't do that. No way I could do that. There's no way I could do that. And then I from being, yeah, my brother used to bust my chops about this forever. One more way that prison was fantastic for me. Honestly, I remember sitting and going, I'm supposed to do what? I got to do the next 18 months in this prison. I got to a prison in Pennsylvania in February. And when they opened the door to put me into the cell, no joke, right? There are no windows. I walk in. Now keep in mind, I'm living in it. This is home, right? For better or worse, this is my home. I walked in and said to the guy, "Hey, it's nice to meet you." And you could see my breath. And I looked at the dude and said, I have no idea, right? How are you possibly living here, bro? How are we going to make it through this year? And he says to me, "Well, I've been here 7." I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, I've been here 7 years because he kept getting in trouble. I'm like, dude, what do we do about the temperature? He goes, wrap yourself up in something. Now, I had money on my books. I was able to buy sweatshirt, sweatpants, which was really a good thing. But other than that, I did a year and a half with no windows. In the summer, and I said to the guy, it was funny, it was my first day there. I said to the guy, wait until summer. And he was a lot smaller than I was. But he grabbed my arm real quick and he goes, don't say that. Don't say that. And I said, why not? And he goes, because if you think this cold sucks, wait until you feel the heat. Because there was absolutely no air conditioning, right? So they would come by, I swear this is the truth. They would come by and you would put your arm out and let them look at it. And if you had the heat rash bad enough, they would come and give you a steroid shot. True story. It was a pisser. But I remember after that, right? I left that prison and we went to other ones and guys would go, dude, we're on lockdown for 2 months. I'm not going to make that. And I look at them and go, of course you are. Of course you are. And I got news for you. You have no idea what you can do until you do it. No idea. You know why I journal? Because I can't not journal. That's it. It's plain and simple. I can't not journal. I tried. Did 46 years of never journaling. You know what happened? I failed miserably. I was addicted to drugs. I committed crime. I effed up 2 families that were mine. I don't know how many families I effed up that were other people's. I lied to everybody I knew. You couldn't have done worse. Ooh, Oakland County is a cold jail. They don't spend money to heat them and they're made of concrete. Steve, I think is, they don't really care if you're comfortable, right? And they're all concrete. So, and usually the clothing that they give you is bunk. It's all bad. So that's probably got something to do. But you figure out what you can do. Hey, Christy and East, been there, done that. Been there, done that. The guards used to take our stuff and like I had a guard take a journal that I was working on and read it, right, over a speaker that went into every cell in the shoe. Right? Stand up, cat. Stand up, cat. But I got news for you. I can't not journal. So if I had to, I would journal it out and light it on fire. Because it's the act of journaling that's going to fix me. Honestly, it's nice to be able to go back and read it, but write it and burn it. You're trying to organize your thoughts. You're trying to not leave a thought behind like a girl in a tempo that 7 years later is going to destroy a week of your life over an issue that you shouldn't care about because it's already gone. Yeah? Q nailed it. Q nailed it. I said, no, I don't want to journal. He goes, oh, did you journal when you were a junkie robbing banks? I said, of course not. He said, then you're going to journal now. That's it. I read every single book I could get my hands on that was nonfiction. The number of biographies and autobiographies I read of people who were wildly successful would blow your mind. Truthfully. And you know something? None of them got to where they got to without journaling. None of them. They all make reference to it. The smartest people on planet Earth put pen to paper to organize thoughts 365 days a year. If you're not doing it, you're not going to be the most successful version of yourself that you were designed to be. That's it. No sorries. Absolutely. Absolutely. The day you go in and the day you get out are two things that are absolutely life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. The walking into and each prison. I mean, I've been to 14 or 15 prisons in my life, and every one you walk into is it's the same every time. It's like you would think, even if I was at Victorville, USP, and I was at Lewisburg. Of those two, there's not too many pens in the Fed system. There aren't any pens in the Fed system that are nastier than that. Maybe Beaumont at one point. Atwater got tough for a while. But the point is, I was going then to FCIs. It should be a cakewalk, but everyone you walk into is that same weird feeling. Nothing like the first one. Nothing like the first one. What about prisoners that have conditions like rheumatoid arthritis? Are they treated any differently? So here's the deal. If your paperwork's good, right? You didn't do anything that is going to offend people. So you didn't have a crime against kids. You didn't have a crime against women, nothing like that, right? You didn't abuse the elderly. You didn't hurt animals or anything like that. Say you're a bank robber and you start to get RA, guys, they got to take care of you. You'd be shocked. There's a lot of respect among criminals as long as they didn't commit a weird crime. The elderly are taken care of. People will go out of their way to help them, right? And they give you whatever medication they're giving out for RA, they would be giving out. They do love to hand out medications in there, but so Ghostwriter, yeah, you know, I fell a couple of times in the joint. Craig says, I've tried writing, typing, and speaking. I felt most comfortable typing. Plus, I can keep up with my brain. That's important. That's important. You know what I had to do? And this was a big deal for me. It really was. Because, again, one of my biggest problems, one of the reasons I got high is because I can't write. And I feel stupid when I try to get my thoughts to paper. And it took a long time to figure out what my problem is. But once I realized that it didn't matter, right? If I couldn't spell a word, I wouldn't use it. So my vocabulary was worthless. I would only use words I could spell. So that was a problem. So when I journal, I'm going to show what it looks like. What do I care how bad the word's misspelled? I know what I was writing down, right? So it doesn't much matter. My penmanship is horrific. Because of my weird brain, I capitalize, like I can write the same word 5 times in a paragraph, and I will capitalize a different letter in that word each time. My brain is just really, really different when it comes to putting stuff down on paper. I got issues, right? That way. But I can talk. My ideas are not bad. It's my ability to get the ideas to paper. So once I got to a point where I didn't give a shit, well, then I'm great. I can journal just like I talk. You wouldn't be able to read it, right? But I can. I understand what I'm putting down there. Yeah, this is a way, right? This is like it's just my actual thoughts and it's mumbling maniac, but it's your thoughts only you see. Correct. This was huge for me. That was one of those moments where I realized that, man, I can do this, because I kept saying to Q, I said, if you could see how I write. He's like, I'm not gonna see how you write, asshat. You're gonna see how you write. Someone asked, how did Q get this smart or get this wise? You don't want me to answer that, because it's one of those questions that I'm going to answer and it's going to make me look like some kind of a weirdo anyway. I survive by forgetting as fast as possible. The problem, Juanita, is that we don't forget, right? We really don't. So it's going to come back. What you do is you successfully shove it in the closet in your brain and shut the door. Q was the gentleman that got me sober, Kelly. Q was my best friend. He's a man I met in prison. After 30 years of doing heroin, he got me clean. I had tried everything, including, places like Betty Ford and rehabs, and had been to prison multiple times, and nothing ever worked until I met this guy who helped me get sober. And he had to, he had to be that wise, you see, right? If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been able to get me sober. Hey, Nicola Mac, good to see you. He says, hi, Tommy, it's been a while. I have a lot on, but I'm always watching you. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you too. No problem. We never, it's actually, this is going to sound terrible from a content creator standpoint, right? Because it's a bad business model, but it's almost exciting sometimes when you haven't seen somebody for 4 or 5 shows. You haven't seen somebody for a week or 2, and you think, you know what? They're living. Life's good. Things are going well, and they feel like they maybe need a little less connection here because they're getting it somewhere else. That's never a bad thing. But always come and just tell us you're all right. Oh, T. I chatter to the void. I do that too, constantly. I sing around the clock. I do a lot of singing. If I'm alone, I'm singing. I do. I don't like silence. Am I capitalizing in the middle of my sentence? Yeah, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. But doesn't much matter, especially these days, right? These days I go live and I talk. I get to use the means of communication that I am the most comfortable in, yeah? Which is good. And also for the first time in my life, I have a girlfriend who's an incredible communicator, right? As good or better at communicating than I am, and that's a very easy thing to cope with. Yeah, it's easy. It really makes life easier when you can communicate with the people in your life. Yes, he absolutely is, Kelly. Yes. In fact, we recently, the cutoff will probably, in fact, at this point, I don't think I could use any more. It's probably too late at this point. The good news is too late means 1,300 letters. 1,300 letters that you all wrote to the judge to help Q. If you had any idea how much bigger that is than what I expected that we would get, absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. It's like I said to him when I was on the phone. If this one doesn't work, if this doesn't get him out, we're still going to get him out, right? If this one doesn't work, then we're going to come up with another plan. Then I'm going to keep doing it until he's out or I'm dead. But we're really hoping that this is going to be the one, right? But I said, if you do not get out on this, it's not going to be because we didn't write you enough letters. I promise, man. Finding your channel through STS and seeing the fabulous folks in your chat tells me 2025 is going to be a good year. Love real people. Well, Shannon K, we're really happy that you're here. We love nice Shannons. Shut the back door. 1,300, right? 1,300. Can you believe that? How many letters have I read? 400? Maybe 500? Way more than I was going to read like 25 and kind of get the tenor. And it's hard. Most of them make me weep because you guys are fantastic. But I wrote a lot of them. I mean, I read a lot of them. A lot of them. I really did. It's and you guys are fantastic. You know something? I'd love to do that. I think what I probably will do, just to be careful, James Collins, is I will probably pick out a handful of these letters that really touched me, and then I will ask the people that wrote them if it's okay if I read their letter, omitting their name, because I would hate to omit the name and still read something that someone found personal. Or 1,300, Lisa, 1,300, and I'm rounding down. We broke 1,300. So it's like, it might've been 1,318, 1,320. At this point, I think it was it was in the teens the last time I looked. More letters than we know what to do with. And that's no joke. Nicholas says, I was drifting off. Then I heard 1,300. You know, it's funny. The last time I talked to him, I guess it was about 3 days ago, he called me. And 3 days ago, we had broken 1,000. And he just could not believe it. Like, could not believe it. You know, that's 4.6% of my subs wrote letters. That's impressive. It really is. That's impressive. You guys are fantastic. It means, well, there's no way to explain to you what it means to me. There isn't. It's funny. I saw another video the other day, and the only reason I went over is because I thought it was a video that was talking nicely about me. I never watch videos that trash me. I just don't watch them. But the title of it led me to believe that it was actually might be saying nice stuff about the boat. And I was going to go over and thank people. I usually do if I see that somebody did something. And I went over, and it wasn't. It was a person trashing me. But the opening line was, "This guy asks for money in every video." And I went, Man, you dirty son of... When did I ever ask anybody? The only thing I've ever asked for are these letters. For real, man. It's the only thing I ever asked for was these letters. I've never asked for anything else. But this is more important to me than any of that. You know? Here, honestly, the number of you that have emailed me and said I would like to help financially with his legal battles, you guys, so many of you, it's stupid. Like it really is. Or people that said, set up a GoFundMe and we'll get a GoFundMe going just for his legal. I'm going to pay for his legal stuff. Me. It's and it's important that I do. If I let you people do that, you know what the trolls will do to me? For real. They'll say, "Oh, he took that cash and did blow with it. He's taking all of the money from these people." I'm not doing any of that, I promise. And he's my best friend. Okay, he helped me get sober, so I'm gonna. I have no problem at all taking care of that stuff, but I do really appreciate. You're right. Most people don't understand addiction. It's absolutely the truth, and even the people that don't. Right, the concepts that are really working. You know, the stuff that really is, and, you know, not cutting edge by any stretch because we've been talking about it for a long time, but it's a malfunctioning reward center of the brain. Right? That's what it is. Sorry. One tough chick. Yeah, no, I definitely have gotten the, because of my brain injury, the feds want to document your decline, because if the decline is fast enough, they can send you off to a special kind of they can send you off to a medical yard and not have to deal with you ever again. And they just warehouse people there to die. It's terrifying. And I did not want to go to a medical yard at all. In fact, it was one of those things that was really kind of freaking me out. But they get a baseline IQ. Right. And then they test you every 6 months. And yeah, criminally insane, 5150. So I went and had my IQ tested. I'm not dumb. I was actually, I was fairly surprised at how not dumb I am in terms of IQ and things like that. But but I certainly, I'm different. I definitely work different than other people. My brain works a lot differently than other people, but I'm happy with it. I really am. I can still do the occasional crazy parlor trick, you know, from memory, because my memory used to be really phenomenal. Like when Spanky was a kid, I could do any Dr. Seuss book from memory. Like if I read a book that size 3 times, I would know it from memory. It's just that simple. Q will get a hard copy of every single one of these letters. Absolutely, he will. In fact, the lawyer that is putting this together, it's going to be delivered to the judge in a hard copy version of it, because they want it on the record, like they want it in there. So I am. He absolutely will have a copy of that, which is pretty cool, right? Prayers, please. Absolutely, people. The Swiss Vapor, longtime friend of the lifeboat, and has successfully beat an awful lot of substances. Really, really, they've done some phenomenal work to get that done. But pain is always an issue for those of us who are. Which one? I'm lost. Let me see something here real quickly. Vapor, prayers for you, my brother. I really hope that I really hope you feel better, man. And you got this. Sorry. Nancy, I hope it wasn't me we're talking about. I gave that up a while back. All right, folks, tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to be back. Today, we're going to be doing more content because, damn it, that's how we roll. And because this is a holiday where where a lot of the more content that we get, the better. Right? The more content that we put up, the more we can hang out, the better off we'll be. Yeah. So we're going to get more stuff put up, I promise. And I think I'm going to be doing something tonight with my girlfriend. I'm not sure whether it will be here or over there, but make sure that you do get subscribed over on all of the platforms, whether it be me or Quibsy or my brother Johnny. But the Scoville clan is going to be going hard to the paint in 2025. So make sure that you are locked and loaded, because it's about to get real. Ask Sean for an alien DNA test. Yeah, we didn't really get to much of that because we sort of got off into the weeds. I am of the firm belief that this is my stance on the alien thing. If there is a race out there that is smart enough to be able to design a vehicle that can travel at light speed, which it would need to do to get here, unless it came from a different dimension, which would probably be even more impressive. Yeah. So we're talking about a lot of brain power. Anybody with that kind of over the top and hyper developed intellect, right? An intellect that much sharper than ours would take one friggin' look at this planet and haul ass in the opposite direction as fast as possible. The idea that a group of species that much smarter than us would want to be anywhere near Earth, I struggle to believe. Mousy says they came in these space planes. They look just like one of those DC things. They were bringing souls, you see. So they were going to dump into volcanoes. And then I believe they were Hawaiian volcanoes. Then they dropped a hydrogen bomb on the top of them, blew them all up. The soul catchers caught them, and blah, blah, blah. Who's the movement therapy art wonder man? Oh, you're talking about Spanx Calhoun? My son does a lot. Great kid. Salt of the earth. Every single morning here on the lifeboat. He is live every single morning on the boat. So please check him out. You'll thank me later. I will be seeing you people later on today on the lifeboat. Between now and the next time I see you, please reach out and try to save somebody. And West Coast Fancy Nancy, I really hope you weren't talking about me. I love you, babe. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.